This is a clouds weather alert.
Good late Thursday or late Friday. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now, giving you a look at that view across much of the country right now. You see, I know locally temperatures in the 70s, pretty warm out there. But then toward the west, you see, and northwest as well, you see severe thunderstorm watch boxes. One of those toward Texas, Oklahoma, a little bit of Arkansas there, and then another one more up and toward Nebraska. So that's something to definitely kind of take note of here as we look ahead in toward the timeline. As we give you the very latest here, I know one of these warnings here in toward Texas, I know really does show that potential for hail being pronounced here. As we're kind of looking at things, I know got a couple polygons technically here on the board. Severe thunderstorm warnings in play, but really they kind of overlap at this point. We're talking about Fannin, Grayson counties there. And then also it looks like part of Collin and Hunt County there underneath a severe thunderstorm warning for over 2-inch hail in North Texas. So a nasty situation for those folks. As you see the angle of that, looks like it could head between Greenville, Texas and Sulphur Springs, but it has been kind of switching directions some. So not a certainty there, but that's kind of why I backed this up while we have that new warning because of the deviation here to some degree. But it's kind of interesting to see things here, the overall scenario. They go ahead and zoom out, I know, and zoom up toward areas here in Nebraska. There's a tornado warning there south of Hastings, Nebraska. That's some strong rotation there on that sound up on the rotation tracker. So right near the radar side, and got some pretty nasty winds in there. Radar indicated right now the warning is for parts of Adams and Webster counties there in Nebraska. You see that notch there on the radar, very close to that radar view out of Hastings there, the Hastings area. I mean, technically, they zoom out here, Hastings more to the north, but the radar is considered the Hastings radar down here. So nasty weather there. Radar indicated tornado moving there. It looks like toward areas there that right now anyway look to be closer toward the Blaine community, but then you see areas like Pauline maybe later on. So, it's something that's important to watch from that national standpoint. It's going to stay active, and the national view will be on here as needed for national weather concern. As we have that alert logo on still, we're in alert mode as it's looking to stay active across the country for that holiday weekend, especially Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to make sure we give you the very latest here, obviously, to protect you, your friends, and your family as it is warranted. So that's kind of the storyline there. As I'm zooming back local on the view at the moment. I know, just kind of giving you everything you need. I know last day of school, as we're looking toward like Radford County public schools, and the weather around here looks pretty good on this Friday here as we're looking at things and just tracking the overall situation. I know just kind of showing everything to you here and giving you a whole view. I mean, look how cool it is though in areas. I mean, as you look toward like Wyoming, they're in the 30s right now as we kind of see that vantage point over that way. So interested to do that here as we kind of zoom on around. I know just trying to give you an update on everything here and making sure you're staying informed. So again, in alert mode as we're looking ahead here toward that weekend. Because of the nasty weather continuing across the country there. I know toward like Temple, Texas, there on that Wednesday. We retweeted their information over on X / Twitter about some very strong winds coming into town. Ended up being a tornadic situation. There was hail as well. So just a crazy situation for Temple, Texas there. I know that's not too far away from Waco, and one of the TV stations actually in that town. And ooh, it was nasty just hearing the background noise there on their live coverage. So nasty weather there in toward central Texas. Even had tornado warnings in that market tonight. Even some confirmation of some tornadic activities. So very important to keep an eye on things. Let's go ahead and shift gears for a moment because guess what starts there June 1st. unfortunately, it is hurricane season. So, as we kind of look at things here, we do have a hurricane special coming Wednesday at 9 o'clock on the different platforms. We have our annual hurricane special Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and you see here, you can't have storms. You definitely can have them in June and July here, so just stay aware. We'll have to watch the models, obviously. It looks to be a very active, above average hurricane season, but it only takes one storm to be a problem. So just keep that in mind here, as we unfortunately have to talk about hurricane season. It officially runs from June 1st through November 30th there. And I know there'll be things like tax holidays and the like to get folks ready. You just have to be prepared. I mean, even the tropical storm can be problematic because of very heavy rainfall. So just be mindful here. Starting to see the model guidance here. I know it was spinning some stuff up there. Nothing that was necessarily that I saw here at first glance on that one run anyway, threatening us or anything. It's going to change plenty of times, but the point being, we just have to kind of keep our eyes here on the tropics overall. I know there is a system that has a 10% chance out there as we're looking there in the southwestern Atlantic. So we're just going to watch everything. I'm not too concerned as we're looking at things right now at the moment, though. But I'll be here watching them for you, obviously. Now we go ahead and shift to your gears again back to severe weather. Then where the logo is red, you see the ward areas of Oklahoma and Kansas, especially on Saturday. All modes of severe weather possible. I know FSU softball out there in the Norman area didn't do too well, unfortunately, on the field on that Thursday. But at this point, they're kind of hoping things go to Saturday there. But who knows how the weather will be or how even the schedule would be. It'd probably be to work around it if FSU could get a win Friday against Oklahoma. It'd be tough, though, in that softball tournament super regional round, as they did get run ruled there and pitching issues there for the Knowles because of some injuries. But as you look toward that Sunday there, you see almost severe weather possible again. As you're looking at Indianapolis 500 is in that risk zone, so that could have an impact there. So just keep an eye out for things here. We're going to be on as needed. Strong tornadoes both days. We've had that threat even on the lower risk days here looking back. So just got to pay attention. I know you can kind of see parts of Jordan that risk on Saturday. There's been some indications from the high res model guidance, and maybe in some stronger storms in our area later Saturday. Now, the thunderstorm risk is what kind of, I don't have it on here all the way, but the thunderstorm risk is what really kind of gets into our area more than the severe risk right now. That could change and may get a marginal risk added for part of our area for later Saturday. I've gone up on the rain chances for Saturday a bit, but most of the weekend looks pretty good around here still. So that's the good news. But now, going to more bad news. It was a deadly, devastating tornado that hit Greenfield, Iowa there on that earlier period in the week. I know on that Tuesday, just a devastating situation for those poor folks there. Just not good. Not a good scenario for them at all. You just seeing all those terrible images coming out of that area. Thoughts and prayers to them there as we go ahead and see that rainfall forecast. I know clutter.com/reader gives an interactive look at things or not on the air here. That's something important to keep in mind as we look at the overall situations. You can go over there for interactive radar, and you see rainfall wise our area looking fairly dry here for the next week. South Georgia a little bit more precip though. Isolated areas will get more though. You see Texas, Mississippi, Illinois, a few areas that stand out with some more rain here that are in this view as we're kind of watching the overall pattern. Hopefully it'll calm down some later into where next week. Still not a certainty though as we're looking at things across the country. I know you can go to clutter.com for a look at this covered map, by the way, and this New York County map on demand, as it is, of course, when we're really watching severe weather. We're focused on these counties. Whenever the tornado warnings start moving through any one of these 62 counties, we're always on the air to give you the very latest, giving you the very latest here for sure, as everything does transpire. And then let me go ahead and say in now here our fog safety tips, because we're looking at things here As we're looking in the nighttime, you just gotta be really careful. I'm looking here right now. I don't really see too much fog on our sensors, but later on in the night could have some of that. So just remember to slow down and give yourself extra time to reach your destination. Make sure your vehicle is as visible as possible to other vehicles by using your low beam headlights, and leave plenty of room between you and the vehicle in front of you. This is a hidden danger, just kind of like in our area. The heat is at points where you got to make sure you drink plenty of water. I mean, fog can be a hidden danger when you're driving on the road. You could have problems. By the way, guess what they just issued here? The Storm Prediction Center for our Day 2 outlook. I'm just checking our other source, but looks like they just sent an outlook out here that has been updated. So let me go ahead and get that on in here. It does include, I think, part of our area. It came across, yeah, it does. It does include part of our area now. So I don't think I can quite say that to you yet, but let me go ahead. It's not going to show up in our system here. Let me just go ahead and back this up to our coverage map while I go over this. It just literally just now came into our system here, though, the information. So kind of an update here to everything going on. So an enhanced risk continues there toward the Midwest there for that day 2. Enhanced tornado risk there. We're looking toward parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. Right now, it's looking like the worst of the tornado threat currently may stay west of Norman, Oklahoma City. But we shall see there. And then again, though, watching locally, I know a wind risk does now include part of our area there, much of South Georgia and a little bit of the Big Bend over toward close to Lake City, so in Columbia County there. So a lot of those counties there are under this risk now, like Decatur and Grady and Thomas and Dougherty and Ware there in Georgia. It would seem, as I'm looking at this from the broad perspective, not necessarily a zoomed in view. So at least some of where would be in there, I would think, and then you go down to where like Leon and Columbia. So that's just coming in. Marginal risk 1 out of 5 on Saturday now, as we're watching things go up a bit. As we look here, though, now toward Memorial Day, very, very important. That Monday there, we're honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice, like my paternal grandfather here, James Henry Russell Cloud. So just really, really important to do that here, at least for that Monday. Weather conditions look pretty good for events like that American Legion Post 56 ceremony at the Stark Park Veterans Park here in Bradford County. As we go ahead and see that planning forecast to get a little more detail on that, a 10% chance of rain there on that Monday. And you see 10% for Friday and many of the days on here, but 40% on Saturday and 40% on Tuesday. Could have stronger storms possible both days. You see above average highs, so drink plenty of water out there, obviously. The lows a little above, but maybe not something that's too big of a deal here. I mean, but those highs, I mean, you don't want to be caught off guard. Make sure you're checking the backseat of your vehicle on this holiday weekend, the unofficial start of summer. And just make sure you don't leave a child in there. And you also just got to make sure you're drinking plenty of water to avoid heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So very important. You just don't want to get dehydrated out there. Make sure you're taking frequent breaks. If you're having to be out in the sun for a while. This is going to be pretty toasty out there as we're looking at things over the next 7 days. So that's kind of the storyline there. Now it's the last day of school. Bradford County, for instance, already graduations for some. Others still have graduations still, though. And at least for that Friday, weather looks pretty good. Again, Saturday, later Saturday, and on Tuesday there. That's when weather could be a little more iffy here across our region. So we're going to be watching. We're going to be tracking everything here for you. I know, just trying to give you the very latest to protect you, your friends, and your family. This is so important to me here at Cloud Weather. Just trying to keep you safe, trying to keep you informed. Let me go ahead and switch back on over right now, though, to our weather radar. And you can see here with the temperatures as we kind of look at things. I know we're watching them all for you. And let's go back over to the severe weather pattern as we get out toward parts of Nebraska. Now, no tornado warnings on the board, but look at that record of 85 mile-an-hour winds or so. Let's see, 85. in areas there 1 mile west of Hartwell in Nebraska. And you see around Hastings, you're getting nasty weather. Community of Red Cloud going to have some of that too. Looks like that's a warning right now for 70-mile-an-hour wind. I would think. Let me double check. See if both of these are 70-mile-an-hour wind and 70-mile-an-hour wind as we're tracking things at this point in time. So considerable damage possible there. Same in North Texas with this storm here around the community of Leonard. I see a community of Celeste there as well with some nasty weather in that vicinity. I know, but just trying to give you guys the very latest here. And you see Sulphur Springs. I know. We'll see if this heads in that direction. We're talking about the deviant motion on this. You can kind of see it. It seems like it's dropping a little more south now toward Hunt County. So again, kind of watching it head more east and now headed a little more south. A lot of lightning out there. I know. Speaking of a lot of lightning, I know there was such a lightning event there last Friday night in Tallahassee. I mean, it wasn't the worst severe weather compared to what it had going back a week before, but still, tons of lightning last Friday. I don't think about that for a while there, too. Of course, never going to forget the deadly tornadoes last wind event there in Tallahassee, going back a couple weeks now. But all those power outages, I mean, and Houston had bad events, they have had them in the past, and then that wind event last Thursday was very significant for them. Last night, Temple, Texas had a nasty event kind of come together right over them. So, some interesting weather here lately across the country. Just all of a sudden coming together over pretty big communities and having a big impact. I know. I'm just going to take the power outage map in Texas right now. PowerOutage.us showing over 55,000, make it 56,743 customers in the dark right now as we're looking at things. So definitely important to kind of keep in mind as we're looking at the overall scenarios. So again, you see Facebook Casey Cloud WX Cloud Weather, Twitter /Exit Cloud Casey there, YouTube at Cloud Weather, Twitch Cloud Weather, cloud.com. You can get all that latest weather information. I'll be on for local national concerns as they're warranted. If we don't expect to come on for some of the events, we'll post up there if it's local warnings, thunderstorm warnings. Of course, we're on for all the tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings, or flash flood warnings. We're posting on Facebook and then Twitter /X. Maybe some national stuff we'll just retweet there on Twitter /X if it's not enough for me to come on. So keeping you guys informed. We're in alert mode still. We've had to have our logo red for a while. It's been an active May across the country. Not as significant toward our area, and not going to be a huge event, but could have some stronger storms now. That signal is really starting to self all of a sudden. In the model in here, we had a little lower rain chance for Saturday. And looking back at my numbers earlier in the week, I had 20% Saturday. Had to raise that to 40% now for later Saturday. So something to kind of keep in mind. With a 40% chance Tuesday, those are our situations where really we're not updating that every day per se, but it's a possibility. We could end up with over 50% coverage on those days. There's just a little uncertainty in the pattern still. It could end up being more like 60% by the time it's day of there when you're thinking about the overall scenario. That's not out of the question. So we'll be tracking everything for you. But for now, have a great night. Enjoy that weekend. Stay safe out there as we're honoring those who made that ultimate sacrifice here on that Memorial Day on that Monday.